Round 4 of Major League Rugby concludes from a sold-out Starfire Stadium as the Seawolves and Arrows lock horns. It's great to be back in Seattle as the fans have braved cold conditions to welcome their side back home. A very good evening to you all and welcome folks. Dan Powell with you along with former USA Eagle and former teammate Kevin Swearin. And Kev, the champs, they must be glad to be home after 2 tough losses on the road.
Oh, this is one of the best stadiums in Major League Rugby to play in, Dan. These guys have to be excited to come home after those 2 losses, get in front of their packed stadium fans, and take it to the Toronto Arrows. They're pretty excited, I know it, having talked to them down there on the field.
And Kev, like we said, 2 losses, both on the road for Seattle, and one of the big losses, not only in the game, but on the roster, is Billy Tau has been instrumental for them early this season.
He's a big loss. MVP of the championship last year. He takes ball over the rucks. He's putting people away. You know, as you know, on the sideline there, he's making hard charging runs, big tackles. He's a big loss for them, but they do have a lot of guys on their roster to fill in. So, you know, I think he'll heal up nicely. Looking forward to seeing him back on the field later this year.
And the star back row for the Seawolves is down on the sideline now with our very own Jessamine McIntyre.
Obviously, Billy, nobody wanted to see you go down with that injury. We do see that you've had surgery. What was your official diagnosis, and what's the timeline for your return right now?
I got a broken fibula and fractured mandibular in 2 spots. I got a blade and a couple screws in there, but missing about 2 months at most, so 8 weeks. And 1 month not putting pressure on it, and then the other month just getting rehab and get back on the field again.
All right, and even though you won't be out there, we know that you're able to contribute from the bench. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, all I can do is just a motivational speech from the side and just like an actual fan, but hopefully make an impact out there for the boys.
All right, well, good luck and have fun from the sidelines. We'll be rooting for you.
All right, thank you.
And now I'll send you back upstairs. Dan will get you ready for Toronto's side of the game.
Thanks, Jessamine. And the Arrows come into tonight's match full of confidence on the back of their first MLR victory last week. It was a 74th minute charge down by Dan Moore, who captains the side tonight, that sealed the victory. And the Canadian international, he'll be up to his best tonight to seal another victory here for the Arrows. Up front though, the Toronto scrum will need to be on point, and Morgan Mitchell is the man for the Arrows right there. A huge engine sees Mitchell amass phenomenal stats week in, week out, with the big man playing the full 80 last week. Well folks, we are closing in on kickoff here as number 4 and 5 meet. Can Seattle halt a 2-game skid, or do the Arrows shoot for the heart? We'll find out right after the break. Tonight's match is brought to you by Washington Federal, your banking team partner for more than 100 years and awarded Best Bank by Money Magazine. Elysian Brewing, the official craft beer sponsor of the Seattle Seawolves. Together, they have released Scrum, an Irish dry stout, available now. Together, we hunt. And by Ivar's, Seafood, Seawolves. It's the perfect match. Ivar's restaurant has been serving up award-winning seafood since 1938. Stop by Ivar's for Seattle's original seafood. Here we go. And welcome back, folks. As you can see, the crowd has poured into Starfire here for this highly anticipated clash between number 4 and number 5 on the table. Ben Seema. They will need a big game from the young fly half tonight as he gets things underway. Toronto wearing their white strip, Seattle in the green and blue that we have come to expect from the Seawolves. Toronto Seal now get first use to the ball here as they bring it out from just outside their own 22. As Ferguson goes to high box kick.
Nice pressure from Toronto coming in, making a big tackle. No time, putting good pressure on Seattle.
And Kevin, you and I talked a little bit off camera at the start of this game about the importance of the kick chase here for the Toronto Arrows.
Yeah, if they're putting kicks up, and as you see that turnover come in, if they're putting kicks up and not chasing, there's no point. Here's a nice little box kick coming in from number 9.
Ferguson finds Turner. Turner's the danger man for the Seawolves. The Arrows will have to pay close attention to him. Former England 7 stars, originally from South Africa. He's actually down, grabbing a shoulder. What a loss that would be for the Seawolves if Turner goes early. Khalifi now runs into a big collision as Wainwright shuts down the big man just outside his 22. Seema plays close to the line and is charged down. The Arrows here with the first opportunity in near the red zone
get that ball
of
out
the
quick.
Seawolves.
Nobody behind. You see nice another chase, kick chase. And Toronto misses the ball.
Now Mac will clear. That was a nice little kick over by Dutoit, who rejoins the squad after his international duties with Canada over the last 2 weeks. Of course, Canada on bye this weekend from the ARC allows some of those players back into the Arrows lineup. As a penalty comes to the Seawolves here, will give Seema a chance to clear, but a positive start for the Arrows.
Yeah, they're putting a lot of pressure. We just barely chatted about the kick chase. They put a lot of pressure on the kick chase. And then they errantly go off sides to put some more pressure on Ben, but give them a release valve when Seattle was struggling a little bit with the ball.
You saw a referee for tonight's match. Ben Krause is highly qualified in the Super Rugby setup in the Southern Hemisphere. His first taste of Major League Rugby action as they're looking to open the doors to refs from around the world.
Great.
Players getting some impact here also on the official side of things as well, Kevin.
We want to see if these lineouts come through. They've been struggling a little bit, Dan, so first lineout right up front. They want to go forward, good ball, and get the ball out wide and get the ball out quick.
Barton does that. Now Harting, the former blue ball, he charges into the line with a good impact. Penalty goes against the Seawolves, though. That's a great turnover for the Arrows. Ferguson shaping to go quickly, but not releasing on Hutting there. He got on the front foot, Kevin, but great work from the Arrows to get in there and force the turnover.
That's right. Ricard Harting is a huge man, running hard, very strong, and they doubled up, tackled him to turn ball over. Usually that doesn't happen on go-forward ball like that, Dan, but they were able to get in quick, and his support just wasn't there.
Still the line out. Zia throw for the Seawolves. Now the Arrows. Watching. His throw on point as well. Well taken at the back by Milazzo. Now they come short. Great line in there from Shepherd.
Nice offload.
And the offload, another offload. The Arrows, the last pass doesn't stick. The opening try goes begging for Toronto. But danger signs in the midfield for the Seawolves there. Toronto looking very impressive with their interchange.
Coming into the match, Dan, we had one of our keys to the game was going to be what's this matchup going to look like in the centers. And here we're going to look at a quick replay. Nice short ball to a number 4 coming hard down, offload, gets tackled, offload again. He looks for it one more time, but William Rosalika comes in with the arm, knocking the ball forward, knocking the ball out of his grasp, and a nice recovery there. But Toronto looks good in the midfield. We're going to see this all game. Seattle's going to have to stiffen up if they want to.
Rosalika on his opposite number there in Jones. I think if Jones could have secured that ball just a little bit better before contact, he was under pressure. Toronto could have got the opening try at the match, and now they have to scrum here. The Seawolves entrenched inside their 22 though, right in the middle of the field.
Interesting stat before the game as we look at the starting lineups, Dan.
And there you see, looking almost like the United Nations there. All the flags adorning the Seattle lineup. The international flavour of Major League Rugby well and truly on show here. As Mack comes off the back, they're looking to run it out here. Stoller with a little juggle. Big game here tonight for Brock Stoller. Playing against a lot of his countrymen, probably feels a little hard done by not to be somewhere in the ARC setup for Canada, with a point to prove. Not off to a good start with the handling error there from Stoller.
Well, and I wouldn't put that pressure on Brock. You know, Phil Mack's coming across the field there. He's trying to find the right angle, and he's put him under a lot of pressure. He's got to give it to him a little bit early or make the kick, because Brock's thinking once he's gone that far, he's going to kick, so he's going for the chase at that point. You know, yes, he could have caught that ball, but you know, that's a little bit I put on that, a little bit on Phil Mack. And it's risky down here to play. So now you've turned the ball over. They're inside your 22. You know, they're looking to get out of this area and not play a lot down here.
Up the back goes Colby. Ferguson comes to seal, as does Wainwright. Keep an eye on the winger here, in 14 in Ottoman.
So we got another penalty from the referee where he's looking at defensive player pulling the man down in the ruck. Illegal play by Seattle, and they're going to kick it for a line-out. Interesting here, Dan, because you could take 3 points. It's definitely a tough angle. Get on the board. You're playing away, you know, but they're going for the line-out. I think they've done a good job. You know, two tries last week against Seattle were on line-out mauls. So they've done their scouting. They're looking at this as an area where they can attack them, so they're going for the try.
We've seen it plenty of times, Kevin. Seattle's defensive structure, though, very, very strong. Many a time sides have given up 3 points to go for the try and ended up empty-handed. Toronto looking to buck that trend here as Ferguson at the back. Jumps out Ferguson, little dummy.
Great defense on the maul there. They've done their own scouting, their self-scouting, and really attacked that maul on defense. And nearly turned the ball over. This is the tough part of the game, Dan. You're going to come in, you got to get low on defense, you got to make your tackles, wrap up. You can't just dive at a guy's legs.
Oh, well, there is the opening try, Kevin. It's Wainwright. He does a little jink and a spin and then dots it down right next to the left upright. The opening try goes to the Arrows. It's 5 points to 0.
It started from the very beginning, Dan. They're looking good. Toronto Arrows coming in, putting pressure. They came off the line out. They started picking and driving after the maul. Was defended well, but it only took 3 tries. Pick. Spins over his defender, dots the ball down, try time.
There they are. Well, they've let themselves go. The great rock band Kiss in the crowd there. Gene Simmons, Paul Stanley, Ace Frehley, and the other one whose name I always forget. It just shows some of the characters in Seattle coming out to the game. Conversion successful from Malcolm. 7 points to 0. Just the start the Arrows would have been looking for. And a big welcome to all our fans up in Canada tuning in on Game TV. Thanks for stopping by tonight and watching your Toronto Arrows, who are looking to go 2 wins in a row tonight.
We saw about 8 minutes of rugby being played in Seattle's half. Seattle's going to want to keep them down here now. Keep ball. They need to start putting some pressure on Toronto.
Now Toronto look to run this out from their own end. Firstly with Shepherd. Made a great break already tonight, Shepherd, and a great unders line. Advantage coming the way at the Arrows. This has been a high-energy start from them. Ferguson, he plays quickly with the tap there. Runs into Khalifi. Was he back 10 is the question. Referee Krause happy to let that one play. Now there's Mitchell. Talking to one of his former competitors, Brad Tucker for the Seawolves earlier, said Mitchell started his career at 8. That's why he loves carrying the ball. Now charged down too close to the line there from Jones. You saw Seema's kick already get charged down. Jones, he's guilty of the same sin. That one out in the fall will come all the way back. And Kev, if you're Toronto here, you put points on the board. The last thing you want to do on your exit set is to gift the ball back to Seattle in your end.
Well, they got the opportunity here. Seattle gave them a penalty. They started attacking. They had a couple goes. They started attacking, and they were on the front foot. Exactly right, Dan. The last thing you want to do is give them a freebie and put them back in the place they were supposed to be. So let's see what Seattle does with the ball here off the line out. Another nice win.
They find Duchelle the Beast gnashing his teeth as he goes into the 40. Now Seema picks up Barton on his outside. He gets the start at inside centre in replacement of Shalom's Tuniula.
They got a lot of numbers out left. If they can get the ball out left quickly, they have an opening.
You can see Seema that way, asking for it. They come to Barton instead down the blind side. Big game for Barton expected tonight as well as he gets the start. Nakatini, Seema, defence comes up. Seema had to let that one go. You would think there was a opportunity out to that left. Now Staller. Staller comes in off the wing looking for work. Big one, big two.
The referee's playing advantage, Dan. See how long he keeps that going.
Tucker finds Turner down the blind side. Counter ruck comes in. No advantage for the offside though. We'll come back for the penalty. Well within the range of Brock Staller, you would think. But as Toronto has already showed this evening, these sides not concerned about kicking to the corner and going and backing their line out.
Which is interesting because, you know, Seattle's had an 80% win ratio on their own lineouts the first 3 games, and that's not good. You're looking at a minimum of 90 to 95%, but you really should be at the upper end there, winning 100% of your ball. So they've done a great job so far to start the game, won their first 2 lineouts. They are going for points here, Dan. You know, let's get on the board, and let's see if we can regroup a little bit after the first 10 minutes of pretty much domination by Toronto.
Yeah, you are right, Kev. They've enjoyed possession and territory. This is the first real trip that the Seawolves have made down into the Toronto half, and now Brock Staller, 26 years of age, will look to add 3 points and register Seattle's first for the game. Flag stay down on that one from Staller. A miss from the usually reliable winger. Leaves the score at 7 points to 0 as we come back to the 22-metre restart.
That hurts. You know, you don't have a lot of opportunity yet in this game. You want to see those go through, build the confidence up.
There's a deep restart from the Arrows. There's Hutting. Spins away from his opposite in Colby before he's finally brought down just short of the halfway line. On the near touch line there. Now Nakatini with another touch. A big Fijian. Mac. And you've got to... Another penalty comes in, but I was just about to say, Kev, it's got to be interesting for a lot of the Canadian players on the Seattle side of things. We're seeing a lot of familiar faces.
Yeah, I think 5 starting Canadians on the Seattle side, 13 Canadians on the Toronto side. They've got a lot of experience playing with and against each other. So, you know, you play it with a player and then play against them. There's a lot of nuance to that player that you know and you can recognize, and so it's even just little chat sometimes, you know, picking on them in the rucks and trying to see how you can get their blood levels elevated.
Yeah, for Kingsley Jones, head coach of the Canadian side, this is almost like a possibles versus probables for him. He gets to run the rule over quite a few players under the pressure cooker. As Seattle set them all and they start going forward, and As we've seen so many times, just feeding off the back of this raucous crowd that have come to their feet to cheer them on here.
They're keeping it in. They're keeping it tight. They're not pulling out just because they're breaking up a little bit. There's a nice 20-meter maul.
On advantage.
Now Mack sets up at the back, marshalling the troops to his right. Nakatini with another touch, looks to get over. Mack again, short. Oh, Barton. Running with mean intentions there is Barton. They come wide again. Khalifi, he's close, he's burrowed through. Khalifi's over, and we could have a tied ball game with the kick to come, folks.
Dan, that was a great try by Seattle. They came in, they mauled it 20 meters down the field, a couple runs by their forwards, and then George Barton coming in with a huge run, trucking over one guy, and Khalifi with a second run right after. And here we have a look with George, powerful run, taking on 3 guys to take him down. Get the ball out quick. Olive Khalifi with the thank you, and burrows over after that great maul that started everything.
Brilliant work by the 8 forwards for Seattle that led up to that try, and Barton against his opposite number, and Dutois, who of course is coming back from the Canadian side, perhaps showing his intentions that he would like a shot back in that Maple Leaf jersey as well.
Those are never easy on the defensive side. You're not sure if he's going to pass or go, and when he comes charging hard at you, Dan, you know, we all know, we've been there.
Comes down now on the restart to Hutting. Let's see if Seattle can have a positive exit as we have a tied ball game, 7 points apiece. Seema in the pocket, goes to the right boot. This one will go down the middle of the field though. A chance to counter here. Oh no, right through the bread basket. He had a little bit of grease and butter from the popcorn he was having in the hotel earlier today and puts it down. Colby, he'll be brewing that one come the video session Monday. Let's go down now to Jessamine McIntyre with more on the game. There you go.
Well, guys, one of the biggest questions going into this match was the field conditions based on the snowstorm we got. I was told they started getting this field cleared on Wednesday and had up to 4 machines going on Thursday and Friday, including 2 Bobcats blown by local fans. So Jeff and Andy, thank you. It is dry and chilly down here, but I don't expect weather to play a part in this one.
Thank you, Jessamine. And Kev, when you're doing a little landscape, you've got a couple of Seawolves fans with Bobcats. Get around to Kevin's house, he'll put on the barbecue, cook some ribs up, do a little re-landscaping of the backyard as now the Arrows take this ball in their own 22 and look to clear deep down towards halfway. Great clearing kick there from Windsor. And that is a brilliant pressure reliever for the Arrows, who were in some rights in a little trouble there under pressure from the Seawolves down their own try line. There you see the Arrows line up, and like you said, get 13 out of the 15. Starting, Spencer Jones, he gets a New Zealand flag for some reason, but that's all right. I'm sure he may have 2 passports.
Yeah, that works. A lot of these guys end up having 2 passports, but no, there are a lot of Canadian players on this Toronto Arrows team. They really have been playing for a very long time, Dan. They're a group like Glendale that's been playing club rugby, you know, high-level club rugby together. A lot of international Canadians on their squad, and so they're new to MLR, but they're not new to each other. And so they're a tight group. They're going to play good rugby, you know, and know how to play with each other, which is huge. You know, when you're playing rugby, you know which way where a guy's going as we watch the scrum come in.
In all fairness to Jones, he was born in Canada, played a lot of his rugby in New Zealand though, so we'll give him a pass marker on that one. As now Mack goes to his right, finds Seema jinking run, needs some support there. Just up off his shoulder, there was some value. There's now Tucker. He pulls that one forward, Tucker, and now it's the Arrows looking to counter-attack. Through Windsor, quick hands. Waterman could not bring that one in. It was behind the winger, in all fairness, but I'm really excited to see this number 14 get in some open space, Kev. a very, very interesting talent. He was brought in as basically a development player, and they were just so impressed with his rapid ascent and skill level in his understanding of the game that they've thrust him into the starting lineup here this weekend.
He had a beautiful try last week.
All right, we will take a short break. When we return, the first half continues. We have a tied ball game at Starfire, 7 points apiece.
Seawolves fans, with all of these amazing costumes in the house for Seattle Seawolves Club Tour Night. I need your help. We're going to nicely done, everybody. Continue to tag your social media posts with the hashtag #TogetherWeHunt all match long.
Welcome back to Seattle and Starfire Stadium. 20 minutes in the book, and we are all tied up at 7 points apiece as the Seawolves and Arrows are battling it out in front of a sold-out crowd here. A couple of the fans getting into the Mardi Gras spirit that kicked off last night. One of many parades down in New Orleans, who went down yesterday to Rugby United New York. They lost their undefeated run of 3 games.
Are we good to go?
San Diego getting the win over Utah in today's earlier game as well. Kev, another tight one down there, but the Legion jumping up to second and 3-1. Great start for one of our old buddies, Lou Stanfield, down there getting it done.
Yeah, we love seeing Lou playing some rugby down there. Again, Seawolves coming in with another win at the lineout, which is great for them. I think it's 3 or 4, but then they lose the ball forward again. They need to keep the ball in hand. They have to play for multiple phases, but they're not getting much more than 3 or 4 phases at the moment.
Handling errors have been very costly in their last 2 games. That one also spilled forward.
It's a great effort by Peter Tiberia to go up, try to take the ball above his head. That skill is very, very challenging, but unfortunately he bobbles it twice and it fails to knock on. And Toronto's going to take over. Looks like it's a full-on penalty. However, they must have been offsides or hands in the ruck. I couldn't see the referee's hand motion there.
It looks like he's signaling offside, so that one will go against the Seawolves. Now decision time here for Mayers. He elects to go to the sideline. They'll go back to the line out. Successful for the first try for Marcello Wainwright. The number 7, high energy player, the number 7. Kev, this is what you thought was the key today for the home side Seawolves.
That's right. They got to have some backline accuracy, make sure they're not knocking on first, second face ball, which fortunately they've done a couple times. Winning the line out, they are doing that, but they got to compete in the ball on defense. And then of course playing seawall defense. They've given up a lot of points this year already, and they got to be coming out hard.
And now it's Toronto knocking on the door as they go around the side there. Cellini. They continue to push to this blind side of the Seawolves. One more time, this time very close to the line here, Toronto. Try scorer Wainwright. Well, this is what he did on the first one. Contorting his body to get through the defensive line. Wainwright, he goes close again. Now Ferguson pauses. Ball comes back slowly here. Ferguson, you can see him marshalling the troops. He wants to keep this in tight. They'll get the penalty. No advantage coming their way. Playing smart rugby. Here are the Arrows. Just tightening the screws on this Seawolves defense.
They're being patient with the ball behind the ruck. They're taking their time. Now that also can be challenging. You want to have a sometimes quick ball at the back of the ruck so that you can catch the defense off. So here you go. Seattle's getting low on the edges, so when you go a little slower, they're set up, they're ready to defend that. So you have this balance of taking your time, but then maybe trying to get a little bit quicker ball so you can catch them sleeping or catch them up a little bit taller on defense. So we'll see what happens here at the scrum. Toronto had a big push on Seattle's last possession at the scrum. So let's see what they're going to do. They're going to look for a little right shoulder 8-man pick. Are they going to keep it steady and get it out to the back line? Or are they going to just push and try to get a penalty? So a lot of different options here for Toronto. They're trying to put pressure on that forward pack. They're going to test them.
Well, the scrum was the rock on which Seattle built their championship run last year. We saw last week Toronto scrum just absolutely dominant over the Austin Elite. Should be a good battle up front. Khalifi taking on Mitchell.
And I can tell you, Dan, when you're out in the back line, you're watching these scrums take place. If your team's going forward, you're feeling really good about yourself. So it's important for confidence for everyone.
Advantage already for the Arrows. As Moore comes in off the wing.
And they're going right back to pick and goes. Pick off the bottom of the ruck. Taking their time. There's a guy behind the ball picker.
They know they have the advantage. Crossfield kick. Oiderman can't bring it in. Under pressure though. They'll come all the way back for the penalty.
They knew they had the advantage, Dan, so they went for the kick. It's a 50-50. They got a nice tall winger out here against Matt Turner. They're thinking, let's go for it. We got the penalty anyways. So it's a great idea, great option by Toronto. They're going to go right back to the scrum, put pressure on their forwards, on Seattle's forwards. I love what Toronto's doing right now. They're being very patient with the ball. They're not doing anything tricky, no offloads, keeping ball in hand.
And Kev, at what point do they have to be concerned here? And the Seawolves, a yellow card for multiple infringements at the same spot, especially down inside the 22.
As long as it's not the same thing over and over again, as long as they're not being cynical at the breakdown, cynical at the scrum time and losing it on purpose, they're fine. But yeah, I think we need to be a little bit cautious of that. They're getting a nice big push on these forwards of the Seattle team.
Well, they go off the back with Colby. Colby spins. Colby dots it down, does it all himself. Too much pressure at the scrum time. Pressure makes diamonds, and that one sparkles bright for the Arrows.
And you're watching Toronto smiling. They're feeling good about themselves. The forward pack came out of that scrum with big smiles on their face. And they're loving it right now. They're showing dominance. Big push, big drive, keeping his feet alive, boom, over the line. All the ball has to do is touch the line. It's try time. Pop them up, and we're looking at big smiles. They're happy. They're feeling good. They're confident. They've dominated possession. They've dominated territory. They're up. They're up 5 points now, looking to add 2 more. But they're really, the score line is not telling the dominance of this game so far for the first 27 minutes.
Big conversion coming up here for Malcolm. He looks to extend the lead back to 7. Both these tries coming in the forwards. Wainwright getting the first. Flags go up. Great kick under pressure there from Malcolm. 14 points to 7. The Arrows retake the lead.
14, Seawolves 7.
Here's Ben Sema with the kickoff again. Put the ball deep in the 22. Put a little pressure on Toronto. And we're going to look to see a couple phases and a possible kick. That's been their exit strategy so far. And a fairly errant kick by Malcolm. Ball goes into hand, and Seattle's going to take it up.
And this is where they're dangerous, Kev, isn't it? The counter-attack. Matt Turner. Probably a quiet start to the year by his standards.
Yeah, we had a little bit of a penalty. Phil Mack's going to go quick here. He sees a little bit of a gap. Not sure if that was the right choice. but let's see what Seattle does with the ball.
That's where they've been their most dangerous, is on quick ball, turnover ball, things like that. It's how Mac plays. I think the teammates know that's what he's going to do and push forward with him. They're usually pretty safe. And this is kind of where they've struggled to get points on the board thus far, Kevin, is during this phase play. They need some creativity.
That's right.
That man right there is going to be key in Seema as he finds Khalifi. Khalifi, hands and knees for a few extra yards. Now they go flat, Hutting.
They've got a few ball runners that always go forward. Khalifi being one of them. Stoller being another one with a nice little run. Quick ball out. Let's see if they can get the ball wide. They got numbers, huge numbers out to the left. This is their opportunity.
Here we go, Mac. Quick hands, Nakatini. Ball goes to ground, well picked up. By Toburio out there, trying to get free. As now things break down. Mac will look to slow them down. With Deschel. Deschel spots a little opening. Deschel beats one. Deschel beats two. The Beast. The Beast. He's back.
That is a beautiful try, Dan Power. The Beast coming in the starting lineup last week. Again this week. He's shown that he is on fire. Everything this guy does is about professional rugby. How he eats, how he drinks, how he sleeps. He breaks 1, 2, 3 tackles, and he's on fire. He feels the energy. The crowd feels his energy. He's loving it, Dan. Look at him pumping up the crowd. Seawolves strike back. It was a great phase play. They set it up, and Eric Duchel coming in with the try.
Such a great story, the Eric Duchel story. The chapter that is the Seattle Seawolves in his life is one that I think he enjoys the most. He's really been embraced in the Pacific Northwest, Eric Duchel, and playing some of his best rugby. As you see how he earned his nickname, the Beast. Look at the size, he's actually leaned up too. That's the scary part, folks. He's dropped some size as the Seawolves will look to tie things up yet again here. Everything we expected, everything we hoped coming into this one, Kevin, is living up to the hype. These two sides really just splitting hairs when you're trying to separate them. As Stoller with a big kick here to tie things back up at 14 apiece.
I think it's really the story of the game that we talked about pregame, Dan, is Seattle going to be able to get their electric attacking offense out there, you know, find some slivers of gaps, and then Toronto playing good phase ball, attacking scrum, balling, exactly what's been played out.
Let's go down to the sideline. Jessamine McIntyre. I've got a mouthful of marbles. Sorry, Jessamine.
Guys, one of the names that you were calling a lot on that try was in pursuit Nakai Penny, who was playing with Team Canada in America's Rugby Championship. Well, Canada having a bye this week. He just returned, obviously contributing heavily on that drive.
And that is an early change to Jessamine for the Seawolves. Penny coming off the bench, coming back from Team Canada. We'll have to see who he replaces. It could be his countryman in Cam Polson. They said coming into the game they're going to manage his minutes as he comes back from a pretty serious knee injury. Another change coming in for the Arrows too. Is their replacement hooker in Ing. He'll have his first throw, Stephen Ing. Good start that one. Oh, dangerous play there from the Seawolves, pulling down the line out. Could have been Tucker. It was Tucker.
Yeah, he was going for the ball. He grabbed a little bit of a jersey or arm and yanked the player down in the air. Obviously, you can't do that. It's very dangerous. So he's going to get penalized for that. Let's see. Toronto's finally taking a kick for goal here for points, and so here's the replay. Get a couple movements up, and Tucker goes for the ball, but you can kind of tell as the Canadian player comes down, he's been pulled.
Listen up. If it's arms, then it's penalizable.
The referee wasn't having any of it, even though we see the Seattle players kind of arguing their point. It's pretty obvious from up here in the booth.
I think Malcolm realises, as does the entire Arrows squad, that this game could actually just come down to a kick. Kev, when you look at, we're almost just over 32 minutes now into this first half. Nothing separating both these sides. Big kick though, 15 in from touch, 40 out from the try line. Malcolm, Lantier pressure on the young Kiwi fly half. He likes it though. It just sneaks over the crossbar, but that's all it takes. Another 3 points. The Arrows 17 over the Seawolves 14 here. 32.5 minutes in the books.
Malcolm showing his skill there. That's a beautiful kick from the 15 meters out from the touchline, 40 meters deep. You know, he showed us in pre-warm-ups. He hit it 50 dead center, so he's got a leg on him.
Seema short on the restart. See Seattle players pouring through to put pressure on. They may have actually forced the turnover here, but coming back from the knock-on, I thought I saw a Seattle hand up there on the restart. There you see Api Nakatini, he's saying, not me, sir. Surely not.
Never. You're never going to admit fault on the rugby pitch, but these guys are going hard. I like the effort that's coming from Seattle. Their energy is lifting. As we take a look at another player down, looks like Peter Tiberio. He was one of the players going up for that ball. Probably got the knock on Pete, but you know, he's a tough guy. I've seen him play, you know, for 5 minutes with a broken arm. You know, thinking he was going to shake it off. He's not coming out of the game, no way. And that was back in his University of Arizona days. Pete Tiberio.
Fine.
We get a great shot at the scrum, both the sides. Maybe some slight dominance for the Arrows early on at the set piece, but what a platform that is there. Neither front row budging an inch.
Stay close, stay close.
Ferguson goes wide on the back. Picks up his inside centre, Dutois. Now goes to the box kick. Probably gets under that one a touch too much, as Ferguson, as it goes high. Well fielded by Milazzo. The Arrows, they maintain possession.
That wasn't a great kick, Dan, but the chase was perfect. He got in there, took the ball from Seattle, and there you go. You gained 15 meters just through a simple kick. They're on the attacking foot here. They're in a great position. You can see 3 players back for Seattle. But another short, semi-errant kick. Seattle recovers well.
Out wide there, looks like Rusalika. That was actually Duchel. Seema notices some open space, looks to thread the needle.
Just a little too much air under that kick, Dan. You're the kicking expert, but would have liked to see that be a little more of a line drive, find some grass.
Tiberio will look to counter. Can't get away from Windsor though. Good chase from the fullback to bring down the always dangerous and elusive Peter Tiberio. Nakatini now up to the halfway line for the Seawolves. They come to the middle of the field.
Great run, dragging 2 players on his ankles. Can't go forward ball.
That is Mackay Penny. There's now Rusalika, crowd favourite, goes forward. Mack scheming.
They got numbers out here. They've had numbers multiple times, Dan. They just can't seem to get the ball out. I think part of that is, you know, a little bit more depth, but part of it is Toronto's coming up hard on defense. So they're not worried about the players on the outside. They're just coming up and pressuring the guys inside, and that's causing them to not get the ball out and exploit that extra space and those extra men.
You saw Ricard Hadding, the captain, turn straight to Brock Staller and ask him what he wanted to do. Ben Seema though, he says, I want the sideline, let's get after this.
You're going to hear this crowd get behind the Seawolves team, Dan. They're coming in, this is maul time. They got a great kick by Seema to put them about 5 meters out.
Well, Kev, there's the keys to victories for Toronto. The set piece, they've actually been dominant in the set piece thus far. Their line-out was the issue. It has, what would you assume right now, being remediated. Match the muscle. They've done that well and truly against the Seattle side, and their kick chase thus far has been spot on. Turner, Tiberio, Staller. The counter-attack has not worked for Seattle in this opening half yet. The Arrows ticking all the boxes, and that's why they find themselves in front 17 points to 14 in the closing moments here of the first half. Under pressure though from Seattle as they continue to push this ball around the corner. They have the advantage too here. Let's see what they do. Look for that short crash again. I'd almost prefer to see them do something a little bit more adventurous with Seamer at the back there, Kev. As they spill it forward, they have the penalty advantage, and they will take the chip shot for 3 points off the boot of Stoller.
Well, part of that is you had 3 players running into the same gap. So you have George coming in with 2 forwards, and maybe they're not sure who's getting it. So, you know, the defense is going to collapse down on that. So whether he caught the ball or not, they're coming in hard and defending that. So, yeah, I think something a little tricky like Toronto did on the other end when they had advantage, right? They kicked the ball up and let's go see a 50-50 shot. But nonetheless, they had advantage. They were going for the big powerful runner, and they'll take the 3 points.
Stoller had a miss on his first penalty attempt earlier this evening. He's gone 2 for 2 on his conversion since then. This one in slightly a better position than his first penalty as he looks to tie things back up here. Just 3 minutes before the halftime break.
It's completely silent in this Ruckus Stadium.
Likes that one. Flags go up. All tied up. 17 points apiece here. Kev, you are right. The difference between the respect the kickers get here is evident. It sounds like a jumbo jet taking off when the Toronto kicker lines up, but when Brock Stoller, I feel like I'm back at my Catholic school in the middle of Mass. You can hear a penny drop.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. They embrace the no holds bar against the visiting team, and they go after him while they're kicking. But that's okay. That's the culture. They're known for their 12th man and for the Seahawks, and they're just it's a loud group of people. They're huge sports fans.
And Seamer, he wants the halftime break, and he gets the halftime break, and it has been an exciting battle this opening 40 minutes. 17 points apiece, Kev. That's everything we want. It's 4 versus 5 on the table. Only one play separates them, and we're getting that exciting game here tonight. Let's take a short break. When we return, we'll have all the highlights from the first half action. 17 points apiece. We'll see you when we get back.
Hey, rugby fans, if you're looking for a cold one, Eagle Team Summer, visit one of our leading locations located in the west side of the grandstand. Southwest corner. Sure to start with the Seawolves' very own custom brewed Scrum Stout and Backline Filter. And grab some amazing eats in one of the delicious food trucks you saw on your way in. Remember, fans, the cutoff for all alcohol sales is the 55th minute of gameplay, so head on over now. Fans, help support your local Washington youth rugby teams by purchasing tickets for tonight's 50-50 raffle. 100% of the proceeds are directed specifically to youth rugby activities through Rugby Washington. Visit their table located just outside of the front entrance. Look for the folks in the leprechaun hats. They'll, yep. The winner will be drawn during the second half water break. They'll take home 50% of ticket sales. Tickets are just $5 each. You must be present to win. So good luck. All right, fans. All match long, Rocky has been hunting low honors for the best dressed club in the Pacific Northwest in attendance at tonight's Seawolves Club Tour Night. One of the greatest traditions in the game of rugby is the chance to pack it all up and go on tour with your club. Memories are made, traditions are born, and lifelong bonds are formed. All right, Rugby has selected the top 4 teams, groups, clubs, and it is all up to you, the fans, to determine who will be the winner of our best dressed here at Seawolves Rugby Club Tour Night. The grand prize, by the way, is a player appearance. That's an opportunity to hang out with one of your favorite Seawolves Rugby players. All right, from the Portland Pigs rugby team, let's hear it for French Kiss. All right. Up next, it's the Green Wingers. Up next, our third team, the Vikings. And last but not least, the Seattle Saracen women. Based on that applause, I'd say that's our winner. Congratulations to the Seattle Saracen women. You are the winners of a Seawolves player appearance. Chance to hang out with one of your favorite Seawolves stars. Fans, make some noise one more time for all of the clubs and groups who participated and shared their traditions with us at tonight's Seawolves Club Tour Night.
Welcome back to Starfire Stadium. 40 minutes gone here in this round 4 clash between the Seattle Seawolves and the Toronto Arrows, and we are locked up at 17 points apiece. And Kevin Swearick, everything we thought coming into this game is actually playing out right in front of us. Two absolutely world-class squads leaving it all on the field as we take a look at our highlights from the first half.
Yeah, it was all Toronto early on. They were putting pressure on Seattle. They're inside their half. They're holding the ball, running forward. And they had a couple opportunities that were missed early, but then they came back, regrouped, and were scoring some tries. And it went tit for tat after that. They scored a try. Seattle came back. You watch right here, Toronto choosing to go, get penalties early. They got penalties, went to touch, got the lineouts, pick and go a couple times, and they were scoring tries.
That first one for Wainwright, you would have an impact on their second one as well, as they continue to wriggle the way through, but it was the Seawolves who struck next, and it was some great lead-up work from their forwards, including this man, Brock Storler, who's not a forward, but his jinking run put them in a position to go to the sideline. There we see just how much it means. As Kutsia, he introduced himself to some of the Arrows players.
A friendly hello from one player to another, and you see George Barton coming in with the hard charge and run. And Ali Khalifi finishing off there. Thank you very much for your efforts, but I'll take the credit.
That did tie us up, but it was the Arrows who struck right back with Francis. Colby Francis, his game has been outstanding tonight. Big physical number 8. He gets a try there off the back. But they had put plenty of pressure on the Seawolves before that. As Malcolm slots a penalty as well that took them through to 17 points. The Seawolves, though, they weren't done as the Beast gets himself involved with this beautiful individual effort as he sees a little gap open up right next to the ruck, just seizes his opportunity to get through.
You could almost see it from the second he grabbed that ball. He knew he was scoring a try, and he was on fire afterwards, giving the defender a little push. And then we just after a couple of tries, each squad we had trading penalties, with Toronto hitting one and Seattle hitting one right before the half to tie us up at 17.
Yep, that leaves us locked up 17 points apiece. As we take a look at some of the scores from earlier today, San Diego getting the win over Utah pushes them to 3-1 and towards the top of the table with New Orleans. And of course that game down in Austin looks like it could be over, 24 points to 8. The Glendale Raptors, they start to turn their season around. Austin, though, they will drop to 0-4. Well, folks, we will continue the build-up to the second half here. All tied up. We expect a big one. The Arrows, the Seawolves coming up after this. Come out and experience the excitement of the Seattle Seawolves Major League Rugby in person. With tickets nearly sold out to every game, StubHub will hook you up with exactly the seats you want. StubHub is the official secondary ticketing partner of the Seattle Seawolves. Go to www.stubhub.com today. StubHub, be there. And you can be there next week as the Seattle Seawolves are back on primetime CBS Sports Network Game of the Week as they take on the undefeated Rooney. Rugby United New York, we saw them yesterday defeat New Orleans down in New Orleans. That promises to be an absolute barn burner of a game. So if you can't get CBS Sports Network, get your tickets, get down to Starfire and catch that game. That's at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific next Sunday. Folks, we will take a short break and we'll return. The second half is coming your way. It's the Seawolves and the Arrows battling it out to close out round 4 of Major League Rugby.
The Seattle Seawolves would like to thank all of our supporters of tonight's match. Washington Athletic Club, Seattle Southside Regional Tourism Authority, Virginia Mason, BECU, Elysian Brewing, the Seattle Saracens, Rugby 100 Club, Ivers, Floor and Decor, Washington Federal, StubHub, Link, Wing Dome, and Fifth Avenue Law. Connect with the Seawolves on social media to find game highlights, news, and all of the latest updates on all things Seawolves. Find us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Be sure to post about your experience at the match tonight using the hashtag #TogetherWeHunt. Please welcome back to the field the Toronto Arrows. Welcome back, your Seattle Seawolves.
And welcome back to Seattle as the wheel spins down on the water there on the old Puget Sound. And the wheel keeps spinning here for both these sides as they are locked up at 17 points apiece. And Kevin, an enthralling first half. What adjustments are you making at the break for both these sides?
Well, we want to see Seattle with the ball a little more. You know, they need to be going forward, and then let's see them get it out to the backs. Their backs really haven't had much ball to play with, so that's what I'm doing on Seattle's front. And Toronto, same thing. They just need to figure out a way to stop their Seattle's one-off and loose play turnover type ball because they're electric. But Toronto's playing a great match so far.
Coming into season 2019, we all knew Toronto were going to be good. We weren't sure how good. The newcomers, though, along with Rugby United New York, really impressing. Had an opening game down in New Orleans against NOLA. They went down, but we've seen that NOLA also a very impressive squad this year. But the Arrows definitely riding their ship here tonight against Seattle.
Control this place. Crouch.
First little action to Seattle is a win. Get a little turnover ball on their scrum. So this is a great attacking platform, right-hand scrum. They can get the ball out to their backs, get a good go-forward ball, and then get it out, get around the corner and get out wide.
And they are trying just that off the set piece. Staller, though, well tackled.
Great defense by Toronto. Coming in, chopping his legs, getting down, slowing the ball down. It's kind of the opposite that Seattle would have wanted at that point.
And that came in from Spencer Jones in the 13. It's really what you have to do against those tall runners, Kev. You've got to stay away from those long arms. They use that fan, just chop them down low.
So here you go, Dan. We were just talking about trying to get the ball out to the backs. You've got Shalom Sonula taking in, coming off the bench. You know, George Barton had a great first half, running hard, and they're going to use Shalom more as a playmaker at the second 5-8 and come in and distribute to get it out wide. So let's see if they continue that through the second half here.
Hutting, he takes it in. There's that man you talked about, Sonula. As he bounces that one out to Staller. Staller goes for a little flick to Duchel. Close to the sideline there, Duchel able to do extremely well to keep the ball in play, but now turned over for the Arrows. Ferguson shapes a kick, then pulls it back before he finds Milazzo. Ferguson, options both ways, goes out to his back line. Jones, Moore, haven't seen much of Moore tonight with the ball in hand. Seattle obviously have done their homework on Moore. They're up quickly to shut down the dangerous attacking weapon. There's Shepherd.
Moore's one of the leading try scorers in the league so far this year. He's got 3 out of 3 matches. But you're right, Dan, we haven't seen much of him at all. He was playing center last week and had some great runs. And you come up, see big Staller make a nice hit, man on ball. That's perfect defense, perfect timing. No chance to get the ball out wide to his winger on the left side there for Toronto.
Very effective defense, as we've seen from Seattle. Now some beautiful second phase play from the Arrows as they go up to a halfway. They can't seal though. This one's turned over. Seema goes quickly. Suniula, flat pass. Rusalika out wide. Every time Rusalika gets near the ball, Starfire rises to their feet as one. Nakatini.
Leave it full!
Options both sides here. Seattle Mac comes down the short side to Suniula. Little kick through, needs a chase. Tiberio, he comes flying through.
Great kick and chase, and then a great tackle by Tiberio, but you've got more on the other end of that. Fortunately, Toronto Arrows got the ball off and were able to reconvene there, and now they're going straight down the middle.
There's a big opening down the middle, Kev. Sorry about that, big fella. I'll cut you off because the Arrows, they are shooting right down the middle of the field with massive numbers to the left.
They got to take advantage here, Dan. They got big numbers. They're moving the ball great. You see the winger with an offload?
Well, the ball bounces up. Perfect bounce. It looks like Ferguson has supported his way through there and dots it down. I've got to take a look at the kick on the far touchline. It almost looks like he chipped it to himself. But the Arrows, they get the opening try of the second half.
Dan, what a fumbling try. You weren't sure if it was going to go on here. He kicks it up, tries to push it up over to himself, catches it. One guy misses the ball. Another guy picks it up, scoops it up, and scores a try. You don't see tries like that very often, Dan. You had a missed kick, a missed bobble, then to a kick, back to himself, scoops up the ball. Another guy misses it. He scoops up the ball. Try time. So a couple fortunate things happen for Toronto right there. Nice try though. It started with their back line having hands out, beating the Seattle defense, getting the last man the ball. He started the action, getting a nice run on the sideline, and it went from there after that. Nice offloading and a couple fortunate kind of pickups for Toronto. First strike of the second half, getting them ahead on Seattle.
Conversion from Malcolm, no mistakes. 24 points to 17. And Kevin, these tight games, sometimes it's the bounce of the ball, maybe a little luck that needs to go your way. And Toronto, they get it both there, the bounce and the luck. The opening try for Ferguson, but the second half gives them back the lead.
It's a little more like a Seawolves-esque type of try for Toronto. Very loose kind of play, and Toronto giving them a little taste of their own medicine.
And now Shepherd.
That's outside.
Need to have a positive exit here. Francis.
Couple phases with the forwards.
Outside.
Test out the Seattle defense. And then we're going to see a kick here. With big number 8 catching the ball and trucking it up, straight up. And now you're going to want to see Seattle get the ball out quick, which they do. And I got a couple numbers outside.
It's Suniula. He goes wide out to Staller. Dancing run from Staller. The Arrows do well though.
Watch for some forward play in the middle of the field. Off of their 10. You see them setting up.
Or pressure pass from Seamer there. That one spills forward. It'll be a scrum for the Arrows.
The defense was reading it like I was, Dan. They were set up. It was too slow a ball. They were not going to surprise Toronto on that. Defense came screaming up to the attacking runners. As we look at some of the reserves here, coming off the bench, we've already seen Shalom Suniula on the field. That was a quick change right at halftime. And look for some of the front row, Mike Shepard, Kellen Gordon, coming in, making an impact, hopefully settling the scrum a little bit.
Crouch. Fine. Sit. Let's go.
Here we go, Ferguson with the put in, the try scorer.
There's a good hook.
Just on his own side of halfway.
It's a solid scrum by Toronto. Just locking out, sitting there, get a good platform for the back line.
Dutois takes that one into contact. Now Malcolm, quick hands, finds Windsor. Oh, the step from Windsor sublime as he goes back on the inside of Ruxalika. Picks up more, and now Ferguson across field, looks for a deep pass. All he finds is the grass. No advantage coming for offside on Seattle though. They'll have the penalty. And this is well within the range of Malcolm if he desires the kick. Big kick coming up here, 7-point lead. They'd love to turn it into 10, turn it into a 2-score game over the Seawolves. This one in a little bit of an easier position than his last penalty in the first half. 40 out, a little closer to the post though. We know he has the legs. Very accurate kicker thus far is young Sam Malcolm.
You can hear the crowd getting into it. Completely opposite when Stallers kick in. But it doesn't affect him. He's straight down the middle, showing 100% accuracy on his kicks. He looks good, Sam Malcolm. I like him a lot. He adds a nice dynamic for this team. He's settling. He's playing good rugby. Very, very confident. Very smooth. And obviously his kicking, he's getting them on the front foot, both with points and through phase play.
This is a big test here for the Seawolves to bounce back, down by 10. We saw their fight last week against New Orleans, and that's a great start. The charge down from Tucker. As the ball sits up now, Milazzo will look to bring this out from his own end for the Arrows.
They're great at just settling, slowing the ball down, settling down, calming things. They're phenomenal at figuring out what the next move's going to be under a panic situation. And that's hugely important, especially on your end, Dan. You want to calm things down. You don't want to rush. And they set up their kickers, get them out, and release the pressure valve.
And that valve is indeed released there outside the 22 for the line out for the Seawolves. They'll have this throw.
The ball's available, you don't use it, you're going to lose it.
So we've got our one of our substitutes coming in here, Mike Shepard, with his first line out throw. It's perfect, so he's continued the 100% win ratio there for their line outs.
And you can tell the intensity in this game has lifted a notch or two, Kevin, in the second half as Seattle realising they're behind. That turnover is not going to help their cause.
No, you pulled out.
Now the Arrows will look to clear. Pressure comes up, though, on Jones.
Go your feet, 7.
Ferguson off the back. Runs into Seema.
We can't say it enough, Dan. Their turnover ball after second or third phase is just really killing them. And Toronto's doing such a good job keeping possession of the ball. As they kicked up the nice high ball, put the player under pressure. They both jumped in the air, so he was truly going for the ball, not the player. But the referee sees it a little bit differently.
No, he doesn't. You can hear the crowd coming through. They don't agree with the referee's call there.
So he's calling an offside on the knock-on, it looks like. And so one of Seattle's player knocked the ball on, and one of their players was in front of him and touched the ball. So that's a penalty of offsides. He's given that to Toronto. And they're going to go for points. So you see a little bit of a knock-on from their player there, and we had Ben Seaman, number 10, in front of him, kicking the ball. He was in an offsides position, not behind the player who knocked it on. So that's a full-arm penalty at that point. Toronto's going to take advantage and go for points. It was a smart call by the referee, the right call by the referee, but Seattle doesn't like it either way.
It'll be Malcolm now looking to push the lead out to 13. Likes to strike, flags go up, another successful penalty. Let's go down now to Jessamine McIntyre with the halftime report.
Hi guys, one of the biggest returns that you'll notice for the Arrows in this second half is hooker Andrew Quatrin, who actually underwent minor surgery over here on the sidelines. He had a gash below his left eye, got stitched up on the sidelines over here, only had 10 minutes of game time to get back in before his substitution became permanent, and he is back out there, obviously a huge asset for Toronto.
That's right you are, Jessamine. Good to see him back out there. Pretty tough though, those rugby, especially Canadian rugby players. Canadians are tough in general.
Yep.
And then you throw in the rugby as well. Quatrin
coming in, playing for his teammates there, just getting a couple of stitches, saying thank you, surgeon. I'm ready to go back in.
Not me. I would have been in the shower. I'd be home by now.
Well, that's you're better up here. That's why.
Thanks, Kev. Suniula now. He takes it forward. Looking to make an impact. Another handling error against the Seawolves, though. We have a scrum to the Arrows in between the 22 and the 40-metre line. It's pretty much dead centre of the field. But these handling errors are starting to stack up against the Seawolves.
It's really what's causing this scoreline to go towards the Arrows, Dan. You know, they're not keeping possession. They're in good attacking position. So they're inside Toronto's half. They've got set piece play and lineouts coming in, big hits, big runs, and we want to see them hold on to the ball after those runs. Bruising runs, you know, that's putting 2-3 Toronto defenders out of the play, and if they can get quick ball instead of the turnovers, then they're looking to be going forward even more. So let's see what if Seattle can regroup here. It's been about 15 minutes all Toronto this half. Or on the flip side, let's see if Toronto can just keep it going, put the pedal to the metal, and get up 2-3 scores on Seattle and wave them goodbye in the next 10-15 minutes.
The big moment coming up here. Plenty of time left on the clock. 25 minutes still to play here. A long, long time for a 13-point deficit to disappear.
Especially for the Seattle team, they can score in an instant. So one quick turnover, one little mistake, and they're going to be in the try zone.
Like you said, Kev, the momentum well and truly in the corner of the Arrows right now, and that could be that little opportunity we talked about.
Yep.
Funny you should bring that up, Kevin Swearin. You've played a bit of rugby yourself, I think.
It's one of those moments, Dan, in the game where you really could, you flip a coin, right? And you say, if it's heads, if they keep the ball, get out of this end, they're looking to really capitalize on this game. Instead, they turn the ball over. It's a knock-on, one phase, it's over, and now Seattle says, okay, take a couple deep breaths, guys. We've got this. If they can put some pressure on the scrum, they bring in Kellen Gordon to help stabilize the scrum a little bit. If they can stabilize this thing, get some attack and go forward ball, get a score, get at least 3 points, then they can really start to regroup themselves. So I'm looking at Seattle now, and they're going to say, keep the ball, guys, keep the ball, keep the ball. No kicking, let's just go, go, go. See if we can put 10 phases together and get in that try zone.
And Phil Mack makes his way to the bench. JP Smith, native of South Africa. He comes on, he adds a different dynamic to Mack, that's for sure. Could be the change that the Seawolves needed here. Their scrum is successful. Smith almost sticks his nose through there, Smith. A little half gap opens up but closes just as quickly.
No, 6.
Now Smith moves it across. Penny upended. Smith with numbers both sides, finds his fly half in Seema. Seema, Tucker, spins. He's looking for a runner there, Tucker. Wasn't forthcoming. Down the blind side now with Turner. As the Seawolves look to attack back towards the middle of the field here.
They're playing good phase ball, but they're not really going anywhere right now, Dan. So they really...
We talked about a lucky bounce. That one could be it for the Seawolves. Tiberio. He sees a little open pastures in front of him as he's brought down about 10 out from the line. They go back towards the middle of the field now.
And they got numbers right again. They can get the ball out, but Toronto's putting great pressure with Brad Tucker coming through the middle.
What a flick from Tucker. The big man showing all the skills. And that's why they brought him over from New Zealand. Brad Tucker worth his weight in gold for that one. And the Seawolves, they're back in it.
Dan, that's the patience that they needed. They were going nowhere. Right, left, and they couldn't break the line, but they just needed to be patient with Brad Tucker coming straight through the middle. Nice little flick pass behind. Oh, beautiful skills by a big man. He is the full package. I love this guy, Dan. He runs, he tackles, he offloads. He's the man in the line out. This guy is the real deal. I love watching Brad Tucker play, and you saw it with the little flick pass behind to set up the try. They needed that. They really, really needed that. We talked about that being a moment, Dan, and it is a moment. They're coming back. They're within one score now. So what's going to happen next? It's always about what's next in rugby.
Conversion successful. We've got a ball game, folks. We'll take a short break. When we come back, the second half concludes. It's the Seawolves taking on the Arrows in Seattle.
He opens up, balls available in front, it's out. Okay. So if he does that, they can start breaking loose. Okay. So that's why I said use it. It means balls available. Go.
Sorry, I was offside. I was saying that I was leading it.
No. Him. On defense, stay close. On defense, stay close. Attack. If the ball's open, it's out. Anything? Better safe, yeah. Communication's still good. Pace is better. I think scrums are sorted. One or two new guys. Yeah.
Every time you attack from defense,
they push. Yeah. And I'll start pushing them. Yeah. Pace.
Not every time.
Yeah. Especially when they want to play quick in the phases. Yeah, into the phases. Okay.
They have a simple game.
And welcome back to this round 4 clash between Seattle and Toronto. Just when it looked like Toronto had gained the ascendancy, the Seawolves strike back, Shalom Suniula getting the try there. And it was the lead-up work from Brad Tucker. A beautiful run from the lock forward that set Suniula up for the try.
Well, we saw hard charging George Barton in that center the first half. They bring Shalom in, who started the last few games, to mix it up a little bit, bring in some flair, bring in some distribution, and he was right there in support for a nice team try, truly, from Seattle on that one. And they're coming out strong, Dan. They're really just running hard at Toronto. I want to see Toronto regroup. They had everything going on the first 20 minutes of the second half there, except the last piece. So let's see if they can regroup. Let's see if they can get back down to playing in Seattle's territory, and truly put some more pressure on this team.
And head coach Richie Walker will be extremely happy with that exit. There we talked about Jessamine McIntyre. That's Andrew Quattrin. You could see a little bit of claret running down the cheek there. That was the running repairs he had. She got stitched up in the first half. That ball doesn't sit up for Mecha. They're calling for the knock on.
Was the knock. First one backwards.
And referee Krause right on top of it. He agrees. Little handling error coming in there. It looked like off the back of that line out against Seattle, it'll be a scrum for Toronto.
Yeah, an errant thrown on the line out by Toronto, and Mackay had an opportunity to take the ball off the ground. Unfortunately, slight little knock on there. So Toronto's ball, regroup. They got a little bit of a favor from Mackay, and we're going to see if they can settle this scrum and get their possession back to where they're running phase play.
All right, fellas, I know there's some new personnel you need to manage up, okay? Sort it out, please, quickly.
Reset this scrum.
This is a great attacking platform for Toronto. You're just inside your half. You got a lot of space. Seattle's got to play back because they're looking for the kicks potentially. So you have 3 defenders against 6 potentially here. You know, the wing will come up as we see a short arm penalty coming in from the ref. Probably an early push by the scrum of Seattle. So they can quick tap. They can go to a scrum again. You know, or they can.
Causing unstable
they're going for the scrum. So
yeah, I think they're looking to turn that short arm into a full arm penalty here.
Well, we've had a couple subs on both sides in the forward pack, so we're going to see if things progress as they were in the first half. And I think Toronto had the edge in the back, just a slight edge, but let's see if they can continue that. It comes down again.
Don't be surprised if referee makes his way to the other side of the scrum. It seems to be where it's collapsing to get a better look.
He's going to check out the props binds. I'm no expert here. This is not my world, Dan, but he's going to check the props binds, make sure they're binding nicely. Their hips are square, pushing straight, right? Kind of some of the simple things, but I'll get a lot of flack for even talking about the scrums from my mates, that's for sure.
You're too good looking to be up there, Kevin. You know that. Ferguson.
Luckily, I was fast.
At the back.
That's a big scrum by Seattle.
Malcolm loops, does well there. Malcolm looks like he's fielding at second slip with a one-hand diving catch. Good work from the Kiwi fly half to bring that one in for Toronto. We know that's where Seattle's dangerous on the turnovers. There's Ferguson taking his time here. Wisely goes to the box kick. Tiberio goes to the air. Moore comes through. He escapes the grasp of Moore the first time before some teammates come in and seal the deal.
It's just a couple meters too long on that kick, so Moore couldn't put the exact pressure he needed.
Rasalika, danger out there. If he could have got the ball away, Seattle had some numbers. Mitchell down in back play for Toronto.
That's nice quick ball. That's okay that they got short. They didn't get much yardage because they're getting quick ball out there, and they want to put Toronto under pressure. You can see a huge line of Seawolves out here. If they can get the ball out.
They have the advantage too, Kevin, as now Turner goes for a run up towards the 40. He's brought down.
But this is better from Seattle. The fans at home, they might see, as you see a huge turnover. Oh, he's playing advantage.
Let's go down to the sideline and check in with Jasmine McIntyre.
Well, guys, as we enter the 64th minute of play here, I should mention that Toronto has been known to be a late peaking team. They have scored the majority of their tries during this time period. And at halftime, I did catch up with Seawolves head coach Richie Walker to ask how he would counter it. He said we're going to spread them wide and run them hard, and that's exactly what they did on Shalom Suniula's try that they just scored here in this half. So we'll see if they can keep that attack going.
Yeah, thank you, Jasmine. That's a great point. Brought up there by our sideline reporter, Jasmine McIntyre. Toronto always finished with a wet sail, so interesting they find themselves in the lead here. A different story to what they found in their opening games, having that comeback against Austin and obviously the loss to Nola in round one.
And every game they've been tight, Dan, so they've gotten a bonus point, a lost bonus point in their 2 losses as well. So they're going to go hard for 80 minutes. Can Seattle put that pressure on and get some time, get some momentum back from them?
Well, they know their strength, and that is this maul. They go around, they're close to the line, they peel off, waiting for the call from referee Krause. He's very close, he's going held up. He's going held up. We'll reset the scrum 5 meters out. But that's the first time tonight that I've seen that kind of dominance at the scrum from Seattle, Kev.
Yeah, that was a huge push by Seattle, and it was not stopping. If the try line was another 5 meters, 10 meters behind, they would have just kept going. So they try to they see that blue line, they see the try line, and they go in for the touchdown. But Toronto players were underneath, held the ball up. You physically have to touch that ball down. So the ref did not see that. He's calling back the scrum to Seattle. And we'll see if they get another big push. The crowd is fueling these players right now. It's a huge energy lift.
That went down, advantage. Seema across field, turns it back inside, Rusalika. Little opening there for the Fijians, shut down though.
They're still playing advantage here, Dan, so they're going to play as long as they can. If they get that momentum going.
Got to go left here, Kev. Got to go left now. They go that way. Seema's got to score. Huge opening for the fly half, and he dots it down. That's a big confidence booster for the young number 10 in Seema.
I love it, Dan, because here they're playing advantage. They're taking their time. They know they have the penalty. So they're going to play it out, and see if they can find a gap, and that's exactly what happens. Ben Seema slices through, taking Toronto. And here you go, slow ball coming out, but they have numbers. It wasn't Ben, it was his players on the outside. The defenders of Toronto were threatened by the players outside of Ben. He sees that, he gives a little bit of a show, not even a big dummy pass, a little bit of a show, holds their feet, and he slices right through for the try. All he's got to do is fall down at that point.
Well, Kev, you played a lot of outside back for the USA Eagles professionally in France as well. Nothing worse than when defending your line, you look up and there's 4 players across from you. It's really, what decision can you possibly make? It's a lucky arm out maybe, and that's all you can hope for. Shoot in, but then that ball goes out the back. Windsor really had no option there. He was let down by his players on the inside.
Well, you truly in a situation of a lose-lose unless the attacking player just mucks it up, right? So you're going to cut in, he's going to pass the ball out, you're going to hold out, he's going to find a gap. So, and that's exactly what happened. He held out thinking Ben might pass the ball, and he finds the gap. Not enough support from the inside, but that was led from the scrum, from the very initial scrum, right? Where they got the penalty, they dominated the inside. Oh, and we see a little miss there from Brock Stoller. That's 2 on the day. It's very surprising to see, but Brock will not be shook by that. He will have an opportunity later this game to make up for it, and I'm sure he'll take advantage. But that is 2 misses. They could have taken the lead there. Now they find themselves 1 point behind. And this has been a great game, Dan. They're back and forth. This is tit for tat in the first half. 1 score versus 1 score. Now it's 2 scores versus 2 scores, and we're nearly notched up. Toronto's bringing in a couple subs to fuel some fire, get some energy on the field. Let's see how this pans out for them in the last 10 minutes.
Malcolm. It's almost as though there's a ball magnet in the chest of Freakart Hatting on those restarts. He gets it every time, and he charges back every time as well. As they go deep here, the Arrows with the kick down to Wilson.
Use it.
Ferguson finds Ing to his left.
No,
Watch the ball come out right here. Seattle did a great job of slowing that ball down. They really needed it. So it allows their defense to get set up and man up and see who they're going to come in and attack on defense. Toronto wants to get the ball out quick. They want that ball out quick and attack Seattle's defense before they can get set up.
Big contact comes in there on Jones. Duchel heavily involved. And you know, they're down probably their best ball hawker there, their guy who disrupts the ruck the most, and really Dolly. So they have guys like Duchel who are typically more dynamic ball runners, need to step up at the breakdown. He did it there, helping slow down this Toronto Arrows attack.
Yeah, you don't always have to win the ball. You just want to slow it down. You want to be a nuisance to that team, trying to get the ball out quick. So it's a true battle every play. Are they going to slow it down? There's a nice little short pass from a forward pack. Player didn't see his number.
Oh, and there's the mistake. The crowd know it too. They give a rousing round of applause to Malcolm for putting that one down. It was a low pass, in all fairness to Malcolm, down at the bootlaces.
This is the prototypical Seawolf defense that everyone's been talking about. You phase after phase after phase of defense, just stagnant, just stopping the Toronto players from getting any sort of forward momentum. They may have even lost meters from the initial restart. So, you know, and eventually that leads to knock-on. Players start to get a little flustered. What's our move? What's our move? 10 phases later, and you're finding the attacking team making mistakes. So Seattle's got the momentum right now, Dan. Are they going to take advantage again? Let's see what happens here with JP off the back of the scrum.
Smith finds Turner. Turner one-on-one with Dutois.
They really want to keep ball here. So Toronto's going to want to turn ball over quick as they can. Seattle's going to want to keep it as long as they can.
They find Gordon off a flat pass from Seema into the 22 now. Off the Arrows, go Seattle. Little flick inside, little George Gregan there. Coming from JP Smith. Maybe watching some highlights from 99. Turning the clock back 20 years was JP Smith. Great pickup from Rusalika. Under pressure, now Suniula, watch the footwork.
They're doing a great job keeping the ball away from the defender, able to offload twice there and move the ball quickly. It's better than a ruck. It's quick ball out. So it gives an opportunity to find a gap. They didn't do it there, but you're seeing that they're looking for the opportunities, Dan. Keeping ball in hand.
Now Rusalika. Things just coming a little undone here for the Seawolves as they're going side to side. They need, like you said, Kev, quick ball, go forward ball to get Toronto on the back foot. Credit to the Arrows, they're defending extremely well. They know how important it is, this goal line stand for them as we enter the final 7 minutes of this game. Back-to-back wins on the road would be huge for Toronto, and that's a great tackle.
Great defensive structure there for Toronto. They're pushing Seattle backwards. Big hits, double tackles, 2 man on 1 man. It's very hard to win those battles, even for Brad Tucker. But Eric Duchel coming in with the big run. He is a man that can take on 2 any day of the week.
Seema now out on that touchline. Lost about 10 yards since they started this attacking set.
But even though they're losing meters, they're not going forward as much. It's great to just see them hold on to ball longer. It's great to see them attacking with a bit more structure. So Toronto's doing a phenomenal job on defense. But I like what I see out of the Seattle team right now, keeping ball in hand.
Well, Kev, they know that a penalty will win this game for them. We saw Brock Stoller in week 1. A penalty, got it done against the Glendale Raptors at the death.
I think we have an advantage from the referee as well right now, so let's see if how long he holds on to that advantage.
Seema, drop goal, sets, off the boot. Just stays away to the right, will come back for the penalty though.
So it's a great option from Seattle. They recognize they had the advantage. Ben Seema drops behind the ruck there, going for his drop goal. He misses that, no big deal. They have the penalty. He makes it 3 points. All right, let's go back for the restart. So great option for them. They're going to take the 3 points anyways and use Brock Stoller instead.
Brock Staller, he's been in this situation before. I just mentioned against the Glendale Raptors. That was in round 1 right here at Starfire. He had to kick late to win that game. And he will step up with the pressure squarely on his shoulders for the first time tonight to give the Seawolves the lead.
Time off, please. Where's the captain?
Just missing a ball to kick with, but he'll get it eventually.
Just wanted to be aware, we are 71 minutes, so that's 3 minutes behind, okay? So don't judge the clock.
Here is young Canadian Brock Staller.
3 minutes behind.
One of the leading scorers in the league last year. Looking to add to his tally tonight. No kick bigger than this one right here for Seattle. Staller, 22 out, almost directly in front of the posts to take the lead. Staller likes it, the crowd likes it, and the flags, they fly high as the Seawolves for the first time tonight find themselves in the lead, 32 points to 30 with just 7 minutes left to play.
It's interesting because Jessamine said that Toronto was the team to watch out for the last 20 minutes, scoring most of their points the final 20 minutes of every match, but it's been the exact opposite, with Seattle coming in, scoring all their points the last 15 minutes. So let's see if Toronto can turn around. They put a deep kick there to Ricard Hatting again, and he's just blowing over people.
Well, we talked about the magnet that is Ricard Hatting on the restarts. I don't think Toronto will be trying to kick it to the big South African again tonight. They'll be hoping not to have another restart tonight. Oh, and that's a great take for the Seawolves, fueled on by this loud home crowd now. They are coming home, the confident side, with momentum at their backs. Suniula finds Seema. They've got numbers again. Seema throws the dummy.
You almost wanted to see him get that ball out right there, but he must have felt a little bit too much pressure. He must have noticed that the defense was coming up in his other teammates' faces, so he keeps the ball on a run there. But Seattle keeping the ball again really well on attack, going phase after phase. JP Smith coming in with great service.
The kick through there from Rusalika, looking for Staller. Looks like a car crash out there. His body's falling onto the ground everywhere. Turned over for the Arrows. That's Donato. He finds himself on the field now in replace of Ferguson. The Arrows will keep it up. They've got a long way to go. They had a long way to go against the Austin Elite last week, and it was Dan Moore who got it done of a kick and a charge down. He's out here on this right-hand side. Here comes the kick. This looks eerily familiar to last week, but Tiberio, no mistake on the halfway line with that take.
That was a pretty good option by Malcolm to put the ball up. Nice pressure by Toronto, but yep, Peter Tiberio comes in with a perfectly formed high ball attempt, takes it.
Smith with the box kick goes deep. Malcolm, no option, kicks this one down the sideline.
This is loose play. This is trouble. This is Seattle's world. They love this. They love the loose play. Get the ball out quick on a counterattack.
The dynamic Eric Duchel.
And here they're all set up, ready to go. Toronto playing some stout defense out here. Big hits, big tackles. They're holding these dynamic Seattle players to a basic standstill.
Everything to play for here. The crowd, they're well and truly behind their home side. Oh, pressure pass for Penny, can't handle. Is this the opportunity the Arrows were looking for?
So got advantage for the knock on, but Toronto could take advantage, so they keep play going. And they got a couple nice runners coming in. Let's see if they kick or they're going to keep ball.
They're going to go a little chip over the top here. Turner, he's seen that before. You can't fool Matt Turner with that one. Now the offload. And just like that, that little chip and chase could come back to haunt the Arrows. As Suniula goes forward, they have advantage too. looking at their clock, they could wind this down with the penalty. There's Seema. He spins away from the defence.
Yeah, advantage.
Smith.
You're on advantage.
They just want to keep ball now. This is it. They know the game's in their hands. They got to keep ball. Make sure you have a support player always behind. Toronto's going to flood. And they go for the drop goal again, Dan. And it looks like it's slotted just to the left. But he had a penalty advantage for offsides. So very similar to the earlier drop goal attempt. He knew he had it. That would have been game over for them had he made that drop kick. So he goes for the drop kick. They're going to waste some time and have Brock Stoller come.
His second shot. This one looked a lot prettier off the boot, didn't it? Oh, just falls short and to the left. But now Brock Stoller with a chance to wrap this up with a penalty.
Gentlemen, there's 4 minutes left.
Trying to get the hand signals there of how much time is on the clock. The scoreboard clock here at Starfire is reading 80. Now game clock, not quite that far along, but it's the referee's clock that counts, Kev. When he says it's done, it is done. And Stoller here, looking at Seattle, they're all heading back over halfway line, so there must be a little bit of time on the clock.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Sounds about right, Dan. We've got 2.5 minutes left in this game, so they're going to put themselves up 5 with a make. And that's going to put the pressure on Toronto to score a try with 2 minutes left. You might see them on the restart. Again, if Brock makes this, you might see them on the restart go with a little bit of a shorter kick so that they can retain ball.
No mistakes from Brock Stoller. He had a couple of misses tonight, but he makes them when they count.
So we got 2 minutes left here. You watch, Toronto's got 2 options. They kick it deep to ensure Seattle's going to kick it out shortly after that. But then you risk the idea that Seawolves keep the ball in hand for 2 minutes, play in their end. So instead they go for the shorter kick. They're going to win it, but nobody's there. Oh, they do win it. Great win by Toronto. This is exactly what they needed. They're going to keep ball here, Dan. They just got to go phase after phase after phase. Their fitness is up. Their fitness is high. They've shown that. They've proven that in each of their last matches. So they're going to keep ball here and see if that Seawall defense is actually what it's made out to be. Nice run. Big run. And not held in the tackle, so he's going to get up and keep going. And Toronto's on the front foot, Dan. I'm loving this from them.
And Shepherd, who takes it into the 22 here at the Seawolves. About 60 seconds left to play. Comes across now to the replacement in Wooldridge. Wooldridge goes forward.
Dan, your legs are on fire, your shoulders hurt, everything's going, you're huffing and puffing, but right now in this moment, no one cares. Nobody's tired. They're coming in. It doesn't matter. You're playing for your teammates, all those preseason trainings, all those 6 a.m. workouts. This is what it's for. You're coming in to smash people. You're coming in to run hard and run over people and finish this game strong.
You don't lose it.
Here we go. The Toronto Arrows. Game on the line here. Donato, the replacement scrum half. Pushing his forwards, and then the turnover. Lost forward on the ground against Toronto. We look at referee Krause's whistle. Still some time on the clock. We'll pack this scrum. Look at the steam rising from the players. The heat, the intensity, the drama, the buzz. You've got to love it. This is Rugby America. Get involved. Get behind it. It's here to stay.
I love it. You know what? I think the Seattle team here came in. They brought their subs in. They injected some energy. They stabilized their scrum. Their forwards started dominating a little more in the second half, in the last 20 minutes. And Toronto, they have been fighting hard. You know, they really took the kickoff. They went almost 10 phases, 8-9 phases, and they were knocking on the door there. So you know they're going to look back and say, we missed a couple opportunities in the first half. You know, we had the momentum. We're going to go back to that scrum when they knocked that ball on, you know, at the 56-minute mark, and see that as a turning point. Oh, big scrum, but they still get the ball out.
Hutting off the back. Watch the reaction of Seattle here. How much time is left? They go deep. Seema clears. Seema finds the sideline. We focus on referee Kraus. There's the whistle. They've done it, the Seawolves. They've fought back from a 13-point deficit in the second half to take this win. 35 points to 30. Commiserations to the Arrows. What a game from Toronto. And you see the emotion pouring through there on Ben Seema. Just how much that meant to him and the Seawolves. As this is the back end of the game here. Some of the charges from Harting. And the crowd, they absolutely love it as well. We'll take a short break when we come back. Highlights from the game, plus our man of the match. Tonight's match was brought to you by Washington Federal, your banking team partner for more than 100 years and awarded Best Bank by Money Magazine. Elysian Brewing, the official craft beer sponsor of the Seattle Seawolves. Together they have released Scrum, an Irish dry stout. Available now. Together we hunt. And Ivar's Seafood, Seawolves. It's the perfect match. Ivar's Restaurants has been serving up award-winning seafood since 1938. Stop at Ivar's for Seattle's original seafood. And welcome back to Starfire, folks. It is the Seattle Seawolves who hold on 35 points to 30 over the Toronto Arrows. We're going to go down to the field now with Jessamine McIntyre and our man of the match, Eric Duchel. Go.
Thank you, Dan. I am standing by with our man of the match, Eric Duchel, raising his arms victoriously as that was a hard-fought one. You guys gained your first lead in the 76th minute of this one. Just how did you keep the momentum going towards the end of the match?
You know, our values is family, excellence, and integrity. We just kept talking and talking to each other and raising everyone up, and it worked. I was even praying in the scrum. God, we need to win this.
Well, you did. You moved to 2-1 on the season. Tell me how that feels to come out now with the lead.
It's amazing. You know, 2 years ago I was in the Air Force. Never thought I'd be doing this, and this is my dream. So every moment's a gift.
Toronto Arrows are known for peaking late. They score most of their tries in the last 20 minutes of the match. You know, at halftime, Richie Walker told me that the plan for the second half was to spread them wide and run them hard. How do you feel the team did with that?
You have a great memory. Wow. You know, we dug deep. This was a must-win game for us, and I could see it in the guys' faces we weren't going to let them win.
Well, congratulations. You guys truly earned this one, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
Thanks so much.
Back upstairs, Dan.
Yeah, thanks, Jessamine. What a great performance from the beast, Eric Duchel. And we will take a look at exactly why he got that player of the match tonight as that opening try in this first half. Look at the face. Look at the aggression. That's why they call him the beast, Kev. He runs with mean intention.
He's the beast on the field, Dan, but he is a sweetheart of a man off the field. He's got the contagious positivity that just exudes from him. His smile is electric. I love Eric Duchel as a person, and yeah, he is a beast on the field, and I'm happy for him and his efforts, and for him helping the team to victory today. They had an uphill battle there for a while, and they were able to sneak away with the victory at the end of the game. Toronto, with their crazy mishap of a try, they squeeze in. After a 60-meter effort there, they put a nice high ball up, and their kicker all day was on point.
It was certainly a battle for the ages as these two sides, heavily influenced by the great nation of Canada, went back and forth, exchanging penalties between both the fly half and winger Brock Stoller. A beautiful run here from Tucker. Finds Suniula off his right shoulder, who dots it down, kept them in touch, and started the comeback as they were down by 13 midway through the second half. But the fight back from the Seawolves, it wasn't done yet. They continue to mount the pressure. Little handling error coming on the back of an advantage, and some injuries. That one a big one. We saw the scrum favouritism swing heavily with the absence of Morgan Mitchell, and the Seawolves knew it. This is where the dominance started, the drive towards the line. The first one before setting up the penalty that would give them the lead 32-29 before another late kick for Brock Stoller that got them the 35-30 victory. A very physical, very tough encounter from both these sides as that man, Rusalika, was able to get some go-forward ball quickly for his fly half, Ben Seamer. This one got them to within 1 point. Seamer dots it down over the line. And they weren't done yet. That man, incredibly close to man of the match himself, was Brad Tucker from New Zealand. An outstanding performance from the lock forward. And you can't talk about a great performance without mentioning that man, Ricard Hatting, as well. He had a brilliant game, a hard-nosed game, which come to expect from the South African number 8. And the kicks were the difference, though, as Stoller, 2 late penalties gave them the win, 35 points to 30. And that wraps up round 4 for Major League Rugby. Seattle victorious 35-30 over Toronto. For Jessamine McIntyre and Kevin Swearin, I'm Dan Power saying good night till next time.
A little more. Loving it. Yeah.